Welcome back to the Gunslinger Garage, guys. This is going to be the first installation of our Tech Tip series, and we're going to be going over the front suspension in the Nova, aka white trash, and how we were able to get 7.5 inches of front end travel on a pretty tight budget. I'm going to include part numbers for all the stuff that we used in the description below. This is going to be a direct drop-in for a 68 through 74 Nova or a Gen 1 Camaro Firebird. If you have any double A-arm car, you can apply this exact same logic, do a little bit of measuring and check your part numbers, and you can do the exact same stuff and yield pretty close to the same results. It's just gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna go ahead and start off by giving you a list of all the parts that we bought to make this work. The first thing is a set of these cheap eBay upper and lower A-arms. All right, everybody knows about knows you need to change ball joints. Also, be sure to go ahead and grease the bushings. If not, they bind up pretty bad. The next thing we needed was a +1 inch ball joint from Speedway Motors. It's just typical dirt track type stuff. Nothing crazy there. A Moroso trick spring. This is gonna, the particular spring you need is gonna depend on the front weight of your vehicle. You can get that by doing a split weight or getting your split weight at any set of certified scales. That'll get you close enough to start at least. We're using this strange single adjustable shock that's actually a direct drop-in for a 2nd Gen F body. Now the reason we're using that is because it has a little bit taller body and yields a little bit longer stroke than the drop-in unit for the Nova. All right, something to keep in mind is that if you're gonna run this shock, this shock with this eBay A-arm, you're gonna have to go in and you're gonna have to chop this hole out substantially larger in the bottom of the A-arm to get it to fit. Now, you can access the adjustment knob with the shock on the car, on the ground. You just have to lay down and you can reach under there and get to it pretty easy. We also went back in and welded a set of 5/16 bolts to use as studs. We've had no issues with that so far. All right. But whenever you go to the longer shock, it allows for a lot more travel. So what you end up doing is instead of bottoming out your shock, you bottom out on the A-arm up here, which limits your travel. Whenever we got to that point, we went ahead and ordered these +1 inch ball joints from Speedway Motors. I'm going to include the part number. That allowed enough travel that we were actually hanging on the shock again. Once we got it to the point where it was hanging on the shock again, we went in and cut out the upper shock location, removed it entirely, cut a piece of 1/8 inch steel plate, drilled a hole for the shock to locate in, and welded it to the upper spring locator here. All right, it's roughly 3/4 of a circle. It's cut flat across the back here. It's welded in, and once we did that, we were back to the point where it would sit down on the A-arm here. Now, if you don't need 7.5 inches of front end travel, you can build a travel limiter pretty easily by taking the bolt hole that is already here on these A-arms, drill it out with a 3/8 drill bit, take a 3/8 nut and weld there, and then you can just take a full threaded 3/8 bolt, whatever length you need, thread it in as far as you want to go, and you can actually get it to the point where once it stops, jack the car up and thread it in another inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, or whatever, and that'll limit your total travel. So if you're having wheelie issues, you already have your shock maxed out, you can go ahead and start shortening up your travel. If you're going to do this, plan on going ahead and getting a bump steer kit. I believe TRZ has a pretty nice unit that's pretty affordable. Without a bump steer kit, which we don't have yet, it's on the list of things to do, and this A-arm setup, from the top of the travel to the bottom of the travel, we have a little over 1 inch of bump steer. So that's a little over 1 inch of toe in or toe out from the top to the bottom of the travel. That's way too much. I think we can get most of that out with a bump steer kit. So we'll be doing that in the near future. Just something to think about if you're going to try this. I hope this helps you guys out a whole lot. It's made a big difference in our racing program and our 60-foot times. I'm going to go ahead and include a video from whenever we had the QA1 drop-in coilover conversion setup with only 1 3/4 inches of front end travel, and then I'm going to include one of our more recent videos where we do have 7.5 inches of front end travel, and just give you guys a good idea of the difference there. This has made a pretty big difference in our racing program. I hope it helps you guys out as much as it did us. If you liked the video, please be sure to like and subscribe for future content. Thanks for watching.